What's up, guys? I want to apologize for the less professionalism that's going on right now. I wanted to do something a little bit easier, a lot more casual. So instead of doing like a product review or a new controller mod or anything of that sort, I thought I'd just talk to you guys a little bit about a project I've been working on. So you guys remember a few months ago, I took a road trip to Covington, Georgia for a Facebook Marketplace deal. I wound up completing the Vectrex library. Because of that trip, I have a reasonably complete set of Vectrex games, save the 2 special case cartridges that were never officially released and you could only get through special circumstances. And those 2 games together cost over $11,000. I am perfectly content in saying that I will never have those in my collection, so that's fine by me. The problem with having these games is that since I've gotten them, I've kind of just left them in that photo box that they were given to me in. And I want to have a nice way to display them on the shelves behind me. All these games behind me have a special place, and I'd really like to share that with the Vectrex. I've been working on a special little art project to create Vectrex game cases to add to the wall. You guys know that I'm a fan of custom game cases. It's a quality case, and interestingly enough, it's the first video I ever did on the channel. Go back and watch that if you haven't. I have improved my video making skills a bit since then, but I have already covered them on the channel if you want to go check it out. The reason I bring them up is because they also sell blank cases. Like, you don't have to get it with artwork, you can just buy a blank case. And that's what I did. There are 28 official Vectrex games, and so I bought 28 blank cases and have slowly been working on making covers for the different Vectrex games. Now, I've had to do a few revisions. This one actually is an old one, and I'll show you why I had to change it. I took the dimensions that custom game cases had on their website for their artwork. They said it was 11 3/4 by like 6.9, something like that. And it didn't quite work because like I was able to get it nice and flushed up on the one side, but on the other it just left a pretty decently sized gap. So I wound up reworking the design slightly. It now is a good snug up to the edge on both the front and the back. I based it off the actual Vectrex game boxes because why wouldn't you do that? The one problem was I was able to find nice, good, clean scans of the fronts of the cases, but I wasn't able to find anything on the backs. So I just have blank backs on here that's just the same checkerboard design that's on the front, but with no blurb, no artwork or anything. So if anybody watching this, if you know of a resource somewhere where I can find quality scans of the backs of the Vectrex boxes, let me know. That would be a nice update to these to where I could have like artwork on the backs as well, or whatever's supposed to be on the backs as well as what's on the fronts. But I am going through and making all 28 of these covers. I have about 8 of them done right now, and I only have 4 of them printed. So I have 3D Mindstorm, I have Spike, I have Polar Rescue, and I have Ripoff. And the fun thing is I also took and made the spines as well. Kind of in the same vein as how, like, you know, the cover project has all of these designs like this. The system, the game, and then the publisher. I did the same thing for this. I did system, game, publisher. And I just thought that that was a neat way to kind of keep these uniform. I opted to go with the NES game cases from Custom Game Cases for 2 reasons. The first one, and the most important one, is they were big enough to hold the manuals as well. So I have like the game, it will fit in here just fine, and then it holds the manual and you can close it up and put it on the shelf. But as you could probably notice, the game's a little loose in there, and that's not ideal. So the other thing that I thought about is I wanted to design an insert for this guy that will hold the cartridge in place and keep it from like bouncing around inside of the case here. It can have a little movement. You know, I wanted a small rattle. I didn't want this thing just smacking up against the side of the case. So I took to Google SketchUp. For those of you who don't know, I went to school for mechanical engineering and I work in a cabinet shop currently as one of their designers. So I have experience with CAD and design work. So I wanted to design an insert that will hold the Vectrex cartridge. make it to where I can easily get it out, but it will hold it and keep it from rattling around inside the case too much. And if you couldn't tell, it's in the shape of an NES cartridge. So I went with the NES case so I could put this inside here and it would hold the Vectrex cartridge steady. The problem is I made this a touch too big and it doesn't fit. It holds the cartridge beautifully, but it then doesn't fit into the case. I'm gonna have to rework this design a little bit, but I can do that. That's not a big deal. I've been tossing around the idea of getting a 3D printer eventually, and that would be a nice little first project, is printing off a bunch of these at that fit, you know, that are gonna fit this time for all of these cases. But in the meantime, I can still use this for the games. They'll just sit in there crooked and I need to not shake them around too much. Luckily though, when it's time, this will just be going on the shelf and I'm not gonna be rattling it around too much. Just when I wanna take it off the shelf to actually play it. The downside to using these custom game cases, they're big enough to fit the manuals, but they're not big enough to fit the overlays. As you can see, that's the overlay is a side of a bit bigger than that case. But my other solution in order to protect these was actually to get these comic book covers. The plastic sleeve and the cardboard backer that usually are used for comics, and I use those for the overlays. All of the overlays that I have are in an accordion folder over there in these comic covers to keep them a little more rigid and a little safer, you know? And then I'll figure out what I want to do with those in time, but I think just leaving them protected in that accordion folder is probably my best bet. At least that's what I think. But yeah, that's the little project I've been working on recently. Do you guys have anything weird in your collections that require a little bit extra work to properly display? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. But I think I've rambled enough. That's just the fun little thing I've been working on, and I wanted to share it with you guys because I haven't done a lot of the talking videos recently, so I thought that'd be a fun change of pace to talk about the casing project I've been working on. But I think that's gonna be it for me this week. Next weekend is July 6th, and we will be at the Southeast Game Exchange. I've been looking forward to this for a while. It's one of my favorite conventions, and I'm looking forward to going back and seeing any of you guys there who happen to be going. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Have a good one, y'all.